Explain to me what ransomware was. I mean, I've seen the term, but walk us through exactly what it is.
So ransomware is, I guess, a type of attack where the hackers go in, they lock up a bunch of your files, and then they say, if you want this stuff back, you have to pay a ransom. And typically those ransoms are demanded in Bitcoin.
Yeah, and there's usually a countdown clock or something, right? So you don't have very long to think about it, and your whole business and reputation is at risk. So apparently there's something called ransom insurance.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. How long has it been around for?
So if you look at just ransom insurance, you can go all the way back to the 1970s, and when these wealthy families and big corporations started to get worried that people would get kidnapped, and so insurers came out and said, well, we can help you, we'll insure against the price of the ransom. So flash forward 40 years, and now we're looking at these ransomware attacks, and they've kind of developed within their cyber coverage a whole suite of coverage that covers these ransomware attacks as well. And so it's not just paying the ransom, it's also figuring out who you're dealing with, because these companies can't be caught paying like terrorists. That's, violates a bunch of US laws. And so they have investigators, they have negotiators, they have people who kind of understand, they call them attack vectors. So they understand like where these guys might be coming from. And so on top of just paying the ransom, they also have to do all of this other investigative stuff.
And of course, it's very difficult when you're dealing with Bitcoin because all you know about the other person is a number, that's their identifier. But the curious thing about this is, yes, Bitcoin has soared, but why then, as a hacker, am I not asking for 2 Bitcoin if the price has gone up so much? Are they keeping the number of Bitcoin they're asking for constant even though the price has soared?
Exactly. So it's actually interesting. It's super easy to commit a ransomware attack. You can buy the software easily on the dark web.
That's discouraging.
Jenny
Very
Surane,
disturbing.
101. Thanks, Jenny.
So it's super easy, but it's actually really hard to then adjust the price of the demand. And so back in March, when Bitcoin was trading at like $1,000 and you were demanding 1 Bitcoin, it wasn't so costly for these insurers. Now, flash forward, if they're still demanding that $1 and it's worth $16,000, it's become a bit more costly.
Yeah, but it seems very problematic to me, because if you have ransom insurance, you have a ransom attack, you're probably just going to pay the attacker, right? Because you're going to get that back in insurance. Every time you do that, the premium is going to go up, and for other people too. So where does this end, Jenny?
It's so interesting, actually. There's a big discussion about whether or not the companies will pay. So the insurers are trying to get companies to be proactive. Don't wait until you're attacked. Make sure you have backups so that you don't actually have to pay the ransom if it comes to that. And it's largely because of that point we talked about earlier. You don't know who you're paying, and so if you get caught funding a terrorist organization overseas, you could be in a lot of trouble. So there's a lot of discussion about actually paying the ransom, whether or not it's a good idea. But if you do decide to go that route, yeah, it definitely, I guess, teaches bad behavior on the point of the hackers, because they know it's been successful once, I can probably do it again.